fascinating research you've come upon. Give us a feel for this.
Well, Wendy, whatever we're doing to counter obesity is not working, and so some experts are increasingly looking at why people are overeating, and that gets them into the forest of the human psyche. But there are a lot of people who are using food for many other reasons other than nourishment.
Right.
And the answer to getting them to stop lies somewhere in identifying what they're using food for and finding a better substitute.
And you've, interestingly, you've nailed down a few personality traits that tend to make people eat more. Let's walk through some of those, like the night owl. That was fascinating.
This is more of a sort of a lifestyle choice, or if you're really a night owl, you feel like you don't have any choice at all. You're primed that way, but it is a recipe for gaining weight because, excuse me, you tend to sleep less than a normal person unless you have a job where you can sleep away the day. And sleep deprivation has been shown in many studies to pack on the pounds by driving down leptin, the hormone that signals that you're full, driving up ghrelin, the hormone that revs your appetite. It can actually change your metabolism so that you're hoarding calories instead.
Interesting.
Diabetes is much more common. And let's face it, if you're staying up that late, you're likely to be snacking.
Right.
And you're probably going to sleep through breakfast.
Can you shift your biological clock, though? Isn't that really tricky?
It is really tricky. I actually did, one of my first columns was on trying to do that. And people who have to do this in shift work also have a very high rate of obesity. So you're probably better off just making a hard and fast rule. The kitchen is closed by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whenever you want to set it. And staying up that late may not be as appealing if you're not snacking.
The stress junkie, this is another person who's probably in danger.
Yes, and again, through hormonal pathways in the body, stress junkies are really living on excess adrenaline and cortisol, which again wreak havoc with your appetite. Cortisol also tends to make your body accumulate fat around the belly, which is a very dangerous place to have it. Raises the risk of all kinds of diseases.
Now, multitasking, I was fascinated by this because I would think if you're doing so much, why you wouldn't really have time to eat. But it's interesting what you laid out, saying that multitasking can actually make you gain weight.
Well, yes, because you're really not paying attention to eating, because most people tend to, if you're going to multitask, you multitask about eating. So many studies have shown if you're not paying attention to what you're eating, you tend to eat more, and you're less satisfied with it, so you just eat more and more.
How do you fix it?
Well, a good rule of thumb is to really take a couple days and write down everything that you eat. And you don't have to be a multitasker to get some benefit from that. Most people would really be surprised at how much they eat once they really pay attention to it.
And what about just sort of setting a set time to eat and saying, I'm only going to eat during this set time and I won't be eating while I'm doing all these other things?
Very good advice. Always sit down, do nothing else.
Right.
Pay attention to your food, put your fork down in between bites, and assess your hunger level. And it's kind of a way of dieting without having to deprive yourself if you really go by your own body's signals.